What's up, everybody? Welcome to a new episode of the Entertainment Plug. We got a little short episode today, but all in all, it's still going to be good. You guys know how much I love to really get on here in the virtual studio and connect with different artists. So we have a really, really good opportunity today. Just came up earlier this week, and I said we would go ahead and knock this out today. So my guest today is an amazing artist, amazing jazz artist, and I've taken a lot of time to connect with jazz artists. I don't think that the genre is really pushed enough. You know, I think there's so many of us who listen to jazz music, but you just don't really see a lot of heavy promotion, in my opinion. You might feel a little bit differently, but a lot of the jazz artists that I do know of, I don't really see a lot of heavy promotion. I don't see a lot of stations necessarily spinning the music unless it's particularly a jazz station. We've tried to be a little bit different with that in UG Digital Radio, just in terms of spinning all different types of music from, those in our culture. So all that aside, I want you guys to help me to welcome Keith Eatmon to the show. How's it going, man?
Good morning.
Listen, man,
everything's going well.
It's an amazing morning. Happy Saturday to you. Thank you so much for taking the time to come on the platform today. I think this is I would like to think that this is going to be the first of many times that we'll be able to get you not just on this platform, but some of the other platforms that we have on the network. So before we really dig into anything, I would love for you to kind of speak, let everybody know who you are and how you got to this place of music. I know you've been here for some time, so we definitely got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, the more I talk, you'll know how old I am.
Well, I don't want to say it like that, and if anything, I might be close to you in age. So,
yeah, the story always tells each step of the way.
Yeah.
So tell me, what would you like to know this morning? What can I share with the people? Start me off.
I guess first of all, just start off. You're Keith Eatmon, and tell them who you are, your music, and all that stuff.
Okay, Keith Eatmon, born and raised in Buffalo, New York. A number of years ago, I moved to Atlanta, which is my hometown now.
Okay.
I'm a performing artist and also recording artist.
Okay. So
when we talk about my journey,
we getting ready to go there. So Buffalo, New York. Okay. Talk to me a little bit about that. Coming up in Buffalo, like were you there all through childhood, or when did you go to Atlanta?
I've been in Atlanta for 26 years. So this is pretty much my home now. I've been here almost as long as I was in Buffalo.
Okay. See that now. See, you're putting out there. You kind of dating yourself now, because I was gonna say, oh, you moved to Atlanta.
Yeah, that's what I said. The story. Yeah, I think I was about 8.
Okay, yeah, that sounded about right. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Now, so were you already doing music when you moved to Atlanta, or when did you start music?
Yeah, actually, I spent a good portion of my adult life in Buffalo in corporate America, and I felt that was really going against the grain because I wasn't being fulfilled on my creative side. And I realized that my creative side had a little bit more to do with why I felt I existed versus showing up to a 9-to-5 every day and being told to, you get 2 weeks off, you can have this day off, that holiday off, and you report to the same duties every day and all. So back in the early 90s, I decided that I wanted to sing. So I went in pursuit of a band. And actually, they took me on. There was a band out of Buffalo called Tailor Made Jazz. Yep. And I used to do sit-ins with those guys and was received pretty well by them and stuff. And eventually that led to me being able to leave my corporate job and being able to be an entertainer for U.S. military, the Department of Defense international tours. So I spent a couple of years performing for them, live performances all over the world. And that came to an end at my choice, and I wound up moving to Atlanta. Got into real estate.
Okay.
Got into real estate, success with real estate, selling homes and all, and something was still missing. It turned into a job. So I found a way to do the two again, and started with live performance, which I've been doing now consistently since like 2012, and still doing it today. But I wanted to record, and I started that mission in 2020.
Okay.
And recorded my first single in 2021, released in 2022.
Okay. I think is really awesome, man. I say that because I feel like in a lot of ways your story really mirrors mine. Like when you talk about getting into corporate America and working a job, obviously to make sure that the bills are paid and all that stuff, but it's not really fulfilling your creativity and your passions and all of that stuff. Like that's me. Like that's where I was. I worked in healthcare for 22 years, 23 years, probably about as long as I've been doing media. So I was in healthcare and kind of started at the bottom and worked my way up, and was really looking to obviously pursue media and be in the entertainment business, and I had to figure out a way to do it, kind of orchestrate a way for me to really get into this and be able to do it full time. And, I think in that earlier stage, like when I went into the hospital, I didn't even really necessarily know A, how I was going to do that, but then B, like, I guess ultimately what I really wanted to do. And why I was so interested in music and entertainment and that sort of stuff. I think that, as I've gotten older, things have kind of really started to fall into place, just in terms of why do I like this so much, and why does this fulfill me the way that it does, and why do I feel like I need to be working in that? I mean, I got to a place eventually in the hospital where I was just miserable. I mean, just like you said, it's just a job, like it's paying the bills, but I hate going. I wake up every morning and
what else is there?
I'm like, God, I don't want to go to work today. I get to work and I'm like, what time is it? Is work over yet? It seemed like it stretched from the start of the day to the end of the day. So, and I was doing media all, at that same time and all along, but I just kind of, like you said, like you get these 2 weeks off, you get this day off. If I request a day off, I may not get it.
Right.
Just, kind of the full gamut. So I got to a place where eventually I just said, you know what, I quit. Like here, I put in a 5-week notice and just kind of just flew by the seat of my pants. And was that the best decision? Probably not, but I did figure it out along the way though. So now I'm in a place where all I'm doing is the media.
Are your lights still on?
Uh-oh, can you hear me?
Yes. Are your lights still on?
Absolutely. And I thought you said is the mic still on.
Okay.
I'm like, oh.
No. Yeah. Are your lights still on? That's a determining fact.
Now I'm not gonna say they didn't go off at some point, but if
but
they
are
did,
they still on as of today?
And listen, when I tell you, it's very bright.
You just muted. You're muted.
Okay, you got me.
Now you're back.
Okay, cool. So yeah, look, if it ever did happen, which it did, just got them right back on the same day. But eventually, I figured it all out to where I could really sustain and be able to push my business and that sort of thing, and really just kind of move on my own way. So, what was that like for you, kind of getting into that space? Obviously, it was with the tailor-made band, and it was for the military. But what was the thought process in terms of walking away? Because you kind of develop some comfortability, and just in a sense, there's fear of kind of walking away from the known.
Well, I can be honest with you. When I walked away, I can still remember the day I walked away from my job and I said goodbye to everybody. I turned around and looked at the very same door that I walked in every day. As I approached my car, the sun was shining. I looked up at the sky, and this is no lie. And I had a feeling that came over me that day and said, the only way you fail if you fail yourself, because you've been given the opportunity to leave this for the last time.
Yeah. I think it's amazing.
And that was it. I won't even exaggerate the story. When I left, it was over. And I had the confidence to make it. I mean, there was some tough decisions you had to make, like leaving the bills at home and having to return to them type of thing, but over time it all worked itself out, and I just kept it moving. But I didn't look back, and I still haven't looked back.
I think it's amazing. I probably shouldn't have had the same thought that you had, but I did have that same thought. Like when I left the hospital, it was like, man, I'm out of here. Like I ain't worried about nothing else, and I'm gonna figure it out. And I've always kind of had that, I guess, quote unquote, go-getter personality where I'm like, okay, I'll figure it out, and I'll figure it out. So the blessing is that it's all worked out, and my hat's off to anybody who can kind of take that type of a leap, in their journey to make some things happen. I think it's amazing. And really, just speaking of your music now, like when I listen to Jamaica, I'm like this guy really loves what he's doing, and to me, that's what it's about. When you're making music, like you want to push that to people, that you really love what you're doing.
This is true.
Yeah. So kind of talk to me about, you said you did that for a few years. You were with the tailor-made band for a few years. So then, after that, you moved to Atlanta and you got back into work. You said around 2020 is when you really got into the recording side of it.
Yeah, because, I work in cover bands, and I was with a band here called Brookwood Split, which was the first opportunity I had to work with a band that had, it was a full horn band. And these are all trained musicians. I listen and learn and project. And I had no idea what they were doing, but I got with these guys and they were pros, but, I had to fight with myself through it to make sure that I was confident to stay with the band such as that. But over a period of time, I learned what music was all about. You really got to, even though I don't read music today, but I can hear. So, these guys were going and calling this out. Let's start that off in that's an F, or that's in G, or and I'm hearing all these things. I'm like, yeah, my ears are tuning in with you. Let's get this going. But I got with them and I learned a lot about music, but you cover so many styles of other people to the point where folks would say to you, well, what do you have for yourself?
Yeah.
Let's hear you do you. And it started pushing me to look into it.
I'm glad you say that, because that actually was going to be part of my next question. Is a lot of people kind of, not so much as criticize, but they'll say, well, I'm not really getting you because you're performing other people's music. So like, how did you get around that, for people to be able to see who you really were?
Well, first of all, no matter whose songs you cover, you got to have heart. You have heart and you feel what you're playing. They hear the song, they sing along, but at the same time, when someone walks up to you and say, hey, you delivered that song better than they did it. I mean, that's not what you're asking for, because you're just doing what you're doing. But when someone comes up to you and say, hey, man, you delivered that song, you put me in the mind of, do you have anything of your own? And you hear that time and time again till finally you say, I need to pursue my own. Even though I may do covers, I still make it my own. You'll recognize the song, but it's coming from me in the way that I hear it versus starting the record here and ending it there, you know. So that was one of the things. And when I started looking for music, you know, people ask me all the time, do you write? I'm like, no, I don't write, but I'm open to something you write, you know.
Absolutely.
But in the meantime, I'm going to take my favorite covers and with the help of a great production team, deliver it the way I want it done. And the choice of the song that I selected versus, hey, you join this band and you're going to sing these songs again, which is a job to some degree. So when you're out, you know, when you're doing your own music, the song's not published. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's not put out there until you say so. And I like that. I like that aspect of it.
I love the fact, like you would be surprised how many people, artist-wise, have told me, or, you know, musicians or singers or whatever the case, you'd be surprised how many have told me that they can't read music. They hear it and they you know they catch certain things and whatnot, but they don't actually read music. Like, do you feel like in any way that's been a hindrance to you? Like, I think it's really dope that, you know, because I mean, it's just like with me, and nothing related to music or anything, but like, you know, when you think of even something as simple as typing, like I type 70, 75 words a minute, but if you ask me to use the format, never. Like I could, if I use the format, I probably type 20 words a minute. But if I do my own thing, like I've gotten jobs over the years where you had to pass a typing test and you had to be able to type 65, 70 words a minute, and you know, accuracy is there. And
another reason why I left corporate America. I never could type. Typing, you see these two?
Yeah. That's for it. That's me. I might put the middle finger in there here.
You get the job done, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
But now, do you feel like that's been a hindrance to you anywhere?
Only in more of a structured situation, because if a call comes through and they say, hey, we need a singer, and I was heard that you can sing, but we all read from the charts. We don't, you know, this is all we do. Can you read music? And I say, no. But do you know the song? Yeah. Do you think you can follow? Hopefully. Hopefully. But yeah, it is a hindrance in some ways. But at this point in the game now, it's like, hey, either it works or it doesn't.
I think to me, it's a testament of finding your own way. Like, everybody does not have to do everything the same exact way. As long as you get the same result or a better result, I don't see why you have to change anything. I think you should be able to kind of build your own formula. It's just the same as with me running this internet station and doing what I'm doing as far as podcasting and the radio and kind of blending it together, you know, whereas a lot of stations aren't necessarily doing that. Like, there's some unconventional things that I'm doing with my station that I'm just like, this is something that I wanted to do. And there's probably somebody else who wanted to do it too, and they didn't do it because they said that nobody does it that way, or that's not how it's supposed to be done. And I'm just like, I've always been one to just kind of create my own way and create my own path. And I think that's where a lot of my success comes from. So I think that's why, you know, you've been able to have the success that you've had, because you're doing it your way.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that.
Yeah. So 2020, you know, that kind of gets started. You start moving with music. My Love Is on Fire. When does that come?
My Love Is on Fire followed me pretty much. You know, when COVID first hit, I had already had this one on the table, and I was taking it to my band. But the one thing that I found out about the band, they have to have the sound. They have to be able to deliver what you hear if you're going to do, especially if you're going to do a cover, you know, and you don't want it to be, especially if you find a cover that is a great cover in your mind. That's why you selected it, but it needs something else. But you also have to look at, are my current musicians able to deliver this sound? Well, it wasn't their sound. So I went looking for someone to help me. And I went to a number of different people here in Atlanta. And oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah, you know, I'm in the studio. I got this person I'm working with and all. And well, can you help me? And just weren't able to deliver. So one night I was actually sitting on a session doing background work, and I'm there with a producer. And I looked at him and I said, after everybody left the room, I said, hey, check this song out. Since you produce and do things, and I let him hear the song. His back was to me, and he turned around. And he looked at me. He said, "I've never heard this song. This is the jam, man. I like this. I really like this a lot. I hear something I could do with it right away." And his name is Trammell Starks here in Atlanta. Most people know him. And his studio was called Studio Magic in Alpharetta, Georgia. But with my vision and his ability, we put it together and we came up with My Love Is on Fire.
Okay.
A recreation of a Stevie Wonder cover.
Yeah. No, I think that's definitely dope. It's interesting that being in Atlanta, like it would be that difficult to find somebody that, I mean, just because there's so many, obviously.
You would be surprised.
Yeah.
You would be surprised.
I just would think that it would be somebody there. I'm in Atlanta a lot. My publicist is actually in Atlanta, and then I lived in Columbus, Georgia for about a year. And like I said, it's so many people down there, obviously entertainment wise and music wise. So you would think that, it would be more people who would be able to do something with it. So like, I guess since that moment, like, have you put together your own band, or do you just kind of still go out and seek people who can kind of help?
That's coming. I'm just trying to build my profile now. Okay. Trying to build it.
Yeah. No, I think you're definitely on a great track. Like, why do you think it's so difficult, or do you feel like it's difficult in the jazz genre, just in terms of marketing and promotion and really getting it out there to people?
I don't think it's difficult at all. I just think that, I know things now that I didn't know in the past. I mean, there's a lot of tools out here today where you can self-promote, and also
Absolutely.
take charge of the way you want to be delivered.
Absolutely.
You can get someone and says, hey, I can do all of your marketing for you. And you say, okay, well, that's cool. But are they truly hearing you the way you want to be heard? Are they delivering you the way you want to be delivered? So then you learn from other people. And I've reached out to a number of people that I made friends with in social media, and they tell me, well, who's helping you with your marketing, or what is it that you want from your marketing? And the first thing you say is, well, here, then. And then they start telling you things. You might want to try this. Take a look at this. Take a look at that. I would suggest trying this and that. And so that's actually what I started doing, looking around. Within the last year, I've learned that there's a lot of tools out there that can help you to at least build a foundation that when you do find someone that says, hey, I want to promote you, I want to help you, whatever, a little bit about what it takes on top of what they plan to do for you. So you're not so much relying on one individual or one group to say, hey, this is the way it should be done.
No, absolutely. It's really amazing, man. It's funny too, because in younger years or growing up, like, I was so infatuated and enamored by the major labels and all that stuff. But over, say, the last 10, 15 years, I've really fallen in love with the independent process and with, what happens on the independent side, and learning the business and learning how to market and how to promote and how to do XYZ and knowing your social media, and like all that stuff really, really matters. And I think I got more of a sense of, you know, how important that side of it was once I launched my company back in 2014, because then it was just like,
Mm-hmm.
I want to be able to do all of this stuff for myself, or at least know how to do it. And, you know, maybe I have somebody, you know, handling a certain piece, but then if they can't do it anymore or they have to move on or whatever, then it's something that I can take over and do myself and know how to handle it and not necessarily be dependent on somebody else, you know, to help to build my own success. So I think it's really amazing. I think you've been doing a really good job, you know, obviously with, you know, getting the music out there and, you know, really promoting it. I think you have an amazing product. Your song
Thank
actually
you.
was going to go to Jamaica, but you released, what was it? People Gotta Move.
People Gotta Move.
Yeah,
Now that was a personal pursuit that I recorded. I love Gino Vanelli, which
yeah,
many people didn't realize that was Gino Vanelli. They overlooked it because you just don't hear many Gino Vanelli covers.
right.
But my producer and I were one night were just kind of trading ideas off, and he sent me a song late at night and said, "What do you think about this song?" I'm like, "Man, that's one of my favorite songs." He said, "You want to do it?" I said, "Yeah, let's do it." And next thing you
Now,
know, people started moving.
yeah,
We
like
had to record it.
what made you want to tackle that song? You know, considering that you don't hear a lot of covers.
Well, I wanted to be different. I didn't want to be predictable with a follow-up song. You know, I did receive some advice that, well, you know, you need to stay, you know, following a certain trend here with your music to do that. I said, well, that doesn't matter to me because I don't want to be known as the individual that just has one style or can only hear one thing. I listen to all kinds of music. I go through, you know, yeah, we I'm telling the truth. I probably have 2,000 albums. I pull out something and listen to something from here and there, and I'll take it to Spotify to follow it in the car. You know, I'm constantly looking for, you know, something to challenge me as far as being a, you know, an artist. So if I'm going to be doing cover music until I'm able to find the right song, whether I write it or somebody else writes and produces for me, I'm going to be doing, you know, songs that I feel are unique. And I thought that song was very, in the way that it was produced, the sound and the musicians that worked on it. I loved it if nobody else did. You know what I'm saying? I was just proud to take on the challenge of a great artist like Gino Vanelli and put a smooth jazz twist on it. So
I
there's some feeling behind that and thought.
I love the fact, like I'm somebody. Just when you said trend, I'm not the. If you're looking for somebody to follow the trend, it's not me. I don't. I really don't care about the
No,
trend. Um, I don't care about what. Like I want to do what I want to do, or I like and just, you know, the same as you saying that you listen to all kinds of music. Like I listen to all types of music. Like I
oh,
could I could go from hip hop to, you know, obviously the gangster rap, to R&B, to jazz, to, you know, the Chuck Mangionis, or I listen to a lot of different music. I was just talking to my mother yesterday, and it's it's crazy because my mother, my sister, and I, we do like a FaceTime chat. So we chat on FaceTime all day long, between the three of us, and you know we'll call back and forth. And we were making some jokes about my dad, and you know, my dad and love and like all that kind of stuff. And my sister had said something about her love. He's trying to find the love of his own or something. But my father is always out going to the parties and all that kind of stuff in the club and stuff. And he's like 72. So she said something about a love of your own. And usually when people say stuff, because I love music so much, usually songs will pop in my head. And I'm like, a love of your own, a love of your own, a love of your own. And my mother starts singing something. And I'm like, well, shit. Did that come out
AWB.
of the 20s or something? I'm like, that's not the song I was thinking of. And I'm like, I was thinking of Average White Man. But I'm like, I can't
Right.
think
That's
of
the first thing that came in my mind.
I'm like, I can't think of who it is, but I know so
That was
then
my first thought.
yeah, but Google has an app where you can actually just hum the song or like sing the melody of the song or whatever, and it'll tell you what it is. So I put her on hold on one phone and got on the other phone and did that, and I'm like, the Average White Man. So I listen to all kinds of music, man, and I think that's really amazing. I think it's something that adds to your product as well. Like it shows in your product. I looked through your bio and I saw that like you loved like the music from Stax and the music from Motown, and I'm like, wow, like Rufus, and I just kind of started going back through a lot of that older music, and I'm like, wow, he's got like a repertoire that like he really likes music. So I think it definitely shows.
Yeah, I'm influenced by everybody.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like every song that you hear and like you want to record that too.
Did you like when you were growing up?
Probably
Were
have.
there other people in your family, or I guess anywhere in the bloodline that were doing music? Like, where do you think that came from? That you were really in love with music and performing.
Oh, I know for a fact. I grew up with one of what you call a cool mom. My mom wasn't a traditional, I guess they call them today, liberal type of mom.
Yeah.
And we had so much music. We had albums, we had 45s, we had 8 tracks, we had music in the car and house from the time I was a child. I mean, an infant. We were listening to music. We got up in the morning going to school, having breakfast and heading out the door to music. We come home to music after school, and most of the time we went to music, listen to music, going to bed. Now we had no singers in the house or anything like that, but it was constantly fed music. And by the time I think I was, do you remember a group called the Five Stair Steps?
I do.
They did a song, Ooh Child, Things Are Gonna Get Better.
Yeah.
My uncle came home from Vietnam, and we were playing music, and he wanted to go to the store and get some records. And he took us to the store, and he's like, my sister was 5 years older than me, so she got the Jackson's 5 ABC, and I just wanted that 45. He bought me that 145, and I went crazy with listening to music. And then I got to the point where I started listening to my parents' music in detail, and remembering, and all I could remember I knew when the record was going to skip. Because I listened to
the funny thing is, I did too. So
I knew that when that record would skip, I'm like, it's getting ready to skip, right? And but it just it taught me to sing in my head, but I never would sing out loud. That was the thing. I didn't even know that. I knew I could hold a tune, but I didn't really get into the singing aspect of it until I became an adult. But I have a good portion of the records that I own right now are things that I bought. I started buying records as a little kid, but my influences came directly from the records themselves.
Now, I think it's exciting when you're young, and the reality, like in terms of me, I was introduced to music early on too. So, like as a younger child, my mother had 8 tracks and 45s and 33s, and I mean they were constantly playing, the Commodores and Temptations, and just so many different artists and so much music that was kind of going in and out of my head. And as a child, we knew that some family had done music like professionally, in the business, but we weren't really acquainted with that side of the family. Didn't really know too much. So it's like we knew, but we just kind of put it off because it was like, well, we don't know them, and maybe that was years ago when mommy was little. Maybe they're dead now. Who knows? Fast forward, we see American Idol, and Fantasia is my cousin. So the relatives
I'm sorry?
Fantasia, that's my cousin. So it turned out the relatives that did music that we didn't know. One of them was her father, and then his brothers. So they were the burrito. So I think that's kind of where I guess the musical side comes from. But everybody was like into music when I was growing up and listening to music. Nobody immediate family wise did music or anything, but we all were like heavily into music and influenced by it, and we all play instruments and that sort of thing. So it makes perfect sense, when you talk about it. When you talk about just being surrounded by music and a liberal mother, as you call it. I think it's dope because it really opens you up to the arts and being creative and kind of finding your way, in that world. And it makes perfect sense though with your music. So now Jamaica, talk a little bit about that. I know that's the current single.
Jamaica. First of all, I'm a Bobby Caldwell fan. I always have been.
Yeah.
And there's a little story behind Bobby Caldwell. When the What You Won't Do for Love came out, I had to have the album. Never mind the 45. I got the album. And it was a snow day in Buffalo. And one of the things I used to do as a kid, go out there and hit a driveway and shovel and make some money. I remember that day clearly that I went out, did some driveways, and I ran up to the record store and I got the album. And I still look at it today. And I played it and played it. And I said, man, this dude is really cool. Then I found out that he was a blue-eyed brother.
Yeah.
You get it? And they hid that because, and I just recently found out that he used a silhouette image on that album so that you wouldn't know he's an artist. He is a male, but you wouldn't know who he is.
Right.
And I followed Bobby for a while, but the first time I heard the song Jamaica, it was on the radio. And I said, man, I love that song. I love it. I ran out and I bought the 45 of that, which I still have today. So that's one of those songs that always stayed in my heart. But when it came down to, hey, I'm doing covers now and I have an interest in doing covers, this is one of the songs I wanted to record. So I took it to my producer that I've been working with, and I threw it at him and said, hey man, this is a song I really want to do. And a number of changes came up that he wasn't really able to get to it. But I told myself this year after doing Gino, I said, the next songs that I cover needs to be one that I am passionate about. I feel the song and I would love to deliver it and pay honor to it. Bobby died in March of 23.
I know.
And with my cover band right now,
them too, but yeah.
The band that I'm with right now is called R&B Inc. And I do What You Won't Do for Love all the time. And I said to myself one night on stage, I want to record some of his music. Yeah. And Jamaica was my selection for it. And when it was time, it happened. And it's out now. I wanted it out the 1st of January of 25, and it happened. It was meant for me to do. And as an example, this is my first CD. First one I put on CD. By the way, see that? See that? Look at that. This is my celebration to recording music.
I need to buy one of those. Do you sell those on your website?
Actually, these are promotional. I mean, these are what I give to my friends. We'll get to that, but right now, I'd just be appreciated if it was purchased from online services.
I gotta work my hand to get one of those, so that I can have that to put somewhere. I haven't bought a CD in ages, so obviously I'm part of it.
It just puts you. Gives you a little something to give the people that care about you,
Absolutely, man. Like I think that you just don't know, man. Like I love music and I love that kind of stuff. So like I definitely need to get one of those. I think that's dope. Hopefully I've downloaded it on my streaming platforms and my Apple Music, and I do have
it's not the same as Apple.
And I do have it streaming on the station now. So like that's gonna be really dope. People will consistently now be able to hear that single on our station. We're available on Apple Music. We will be on Spotify. We're on TuneIn. And then I actually have a mobile app in development that should be out the next week and a half or so. And then it'll stream it too. So, that'll be a way to definitely keep it going. Like, is there, do you have a full length project in the future?
Yeah, what I'm going to do is take what I've done so far, and I got a couple in the pipeline here.
Okay.
I'm going to do that and call that my EP.
Okay.
And hope to promote that as well. But as you know, it takes money for production. So they come a little bit slower when you're independent and not have a label. But that's not to say that I won't. But in the meantime, I'm working on this independent stuff and getting it together as an EP and hopefully be able to shop out my ability and start, along the way looking for some folks to write, co-write, produce, play, and deliver. And the main thing is what I'm trying to do now is just get enough, and I'll just make this clear, get enough material. And I really want to do my own show. I would like to do, that's more so than just recording. I want to do my own show and deliver the songs that only I want to do.
Absolutely. No, I think it's amazing. Like I said, I love the independent. I don't even call it a struggle. Like I love the independent journey and being able to do it for yourself. And trust me, I know it takes money. It's almost just the same as me running this network. It's about the same as me running this network and doing radio and all that. I got to put some money into this stuff. And, I have to do it at my own pace and that type of thing. And that's been, the beauty of me working independently for so long. And I mean, I worked with the NBC affiliate here in Cleveland. I worked with Radio One for a few years. I did some freelance for BET. And I got to that place of just wanting to do it myself, because I think the biggest thing out of all of it is on the media side, I don't want to be told what to do and who I can talk to and who I can't talk to and what I got to ask them and like that kind of thing. And to get away from that, you gotta do it yourself. And I like doing it myself. I talk about a lot of these, people, they get fired from these networks and then they don't know how to move forward because they've had somebody doing it for them for 15, 20 years. And I'm just like, I don't want that.
Exactly.
The game is too fickle. And that's what I saw even just on the label side, because like growing up, I always wanted to be an A&R and work at a record label. But, once I started to see the turnover and they can just drop you, they can let you go at any moment and they don't have to give you no notice or nothing. I'm like, I can't do that. That's like the banking industry. I'm like, I can't take that. So I just, figured out a way to kind of build my own. So I love the journey that you've been on. Bobby Caldwell, I was going to mention, I said I had a little story too. People ask me a lot of times, like the best concert that I've been to. He's probably hands down like one of the best performers that I've had the pleasure of seeing live. My first event that I did with BET was the Soul Train, and he performed that year that I did the Soul Train with. He performed up there. Mm-hmm. It was like beyond amazing, like just to see him, like it was amazing. So yeah, I get why he's a favorite.
Yeah, you can hear the passion in his performance.
Absolutely. But you hear the passion in your performance, especially on Jamaica. But,
even better.
Like you hear the passion, so that's why I'm, equally excited about what you're doing, because you hear the passion. Like I can listen to it and tell, like I said before, like he loves what he's doing. Like he really loves what he's doing. And to me, that's what matters. When you're spending money on music and downloading and buying CDs and all this kind of stuff, like you want to know that like they give a damn about what it is that they do. And they're not just putting anything out there just to be putting something out. And you got a lot of artists who are, as we said, following the trend and, doing what they think is, going to be the next hottest thing or whatever. But I think when you can stand in your own and do, what you're truly passionate about, that's the best type of artistry. So I appreciate you for that, man. Anything else going on that?
I said thank you for acknowledging that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Is there anything else going on that we should know about, like any upcoming shows, anywhere we can catch you live?
Well, in the process of this journey, as I said, I'm a performer now with a cover band, and we cover everything. The band is called R&B Inc. And here in Atlanta, you can look us up on social media. It's R&B Inc. INC. Period. As I pursue this, that is my number one priority right now, because I am the lead singer of that band, where I cover a number of songs per show, and we're pretty busy. So I'm working two things at the same time. But as time goes on, I'll be promoting independent shows. But if there's something else that you like that I'm passionate about, and pretty much all the songs that I cover in the band, you can catch us live here in Atlanta. We're all over the state, but we're based right here out of Lawrenceville, Georgia. But I perform quite a bit.
Okay. I come to Atlanta quite a bit, so I'm quite sure I can get down there when you got, do you have regular dates that you perform, or you're just kind of scheduled at different spots?
Yes, we have. You can look us up on it's rnbincmusic.com. I think I'm right. But you can go to our page on Facebook. It's R&B Inc.
Yeah.
And we always post our dates.
Okay. No, that's cool, man. Listen, I'm gonna come check y'all out, man. Probably very soon.
That would be cool.
I haven't been down there. It's been some months. Like probably last summer was the last time I was down there. So I know my publicist is kind of itching to get me down there. So I will be down there probably in the next couple of months. So I'm gonna make it a point to come and check you guys out. And then in the meantime, I work with Tangi constantly. So she's always sending me stuff. But like I said, Jamaica is streaming on the station. I'm gonna get the other two singles that we talked about, get those added on there too, so that then those are streaming as well.
Thank you.
I'll have some other promo and stuff going on the site, obviously to promote this conversation, but then other stuff that you're doing. So I will keep up with you, man. Any kind of final comments, or actually before I say that, did you want to shout your social media, website, anything like that?
You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Keith Eatmon under Facebook, and Keith Eatmon ATL Box vocalist on Instagram. I'm getting better at that stuff too.
It takes time.
Social media stuff. That part I still got to get down. I got the voice, I got the music, but social media and Tangi, she's gonna be helping me a lot. Isn't that right, Tangi?
It's all good, man. Listen, believe it or not, I'm still getting there too. So it's okay. Like it's crazy. Like people will look at my Instagram and they'll say, "Well, damn, he's got a lot of followers on there." It took me every bit of 11 or 12 years to build those followers. So
wow, and I'm just getting there.
It didn't come in.
I'm just getting there.
People start their pages and they got a few thousand, in a couple days or something like that. I'm like, nah. It took me 12 years to build this following. So I do my very best to make sure I don't lose the passwords or nothing like that and can't get into it, because I actually did. I actually did get locked out of on one of my Instagram accounts, and there was like 10,000 followers on there. So I still can't get into it, and you can barely get in touch with anybody with Instagram. So I'm just like, forget it. But yeah, no, I appreciate you very much, man. I definitely
appreciate
will
you.
want to do this again for this platform, but then we have a number of other platforms that are currently running, and then we got some new ones that are going to launch throughout 2025. So I definitely look to reconnect with you again. Any last words that you want to get out to the audience?
Please listen to my music. Please comment on my music. Please buy my music. Please know my name.
Those are the best messages, man.
Here it
That's
is
it.
one more time. This is my single, Jamaica.
Listen, man, that's a milestone for you. So, like, congratulations for that.
It
like,
is.
I swear to
Thank
God,
you.
I know how it feels like to find, like to get to that place of, wow, I finally did it. Like my last year, I had my first billboard, and it was just like I drove to the spot where it was, and I sat out there for a minute, and I took all these pictures, and I'm like, I got a billboard. Like I got a billboard. Like it's
Everything
amazing.
counts.
It's amazing to be able to accomplish these things and to know that you're doing it on your own by the hard work that you put in. So like, I think that that's really, really dope. I don't even want a free copy of that. I'm gonna figure out a way to buy one or something. I'm gonna have to talk to Tenji so that you get something.
Man, for this interview, you got one with your name on it.
I'm
Then you buy
going to put it in a frame or something, man. Like I think that's really amazing. So kudos to you. And like I said, I love the fact that you're on this independent journey. I love the independent side of it, and I love to see, you know, the success from people who are really putting in the work. And people like me, believe it or not, I mean, you're doing music and I'm doing media, but I'm learning from what you're doing and seeing stuff that you're doing. And like people that I talk to every day, I'm pulling stuff from them, and you know, to really incorporate that into what I'm doing to make UG Digital Radio and podcasting and all of that something different and not like the rest of it. Because a lot of the stuff I've been doing, people have been like, well, that's not how they do it, or it should be the no. It needs to be the way that like this is the way that I want to do it. I need to be different, and that's what's going to continue to pull people in to look at what I got, because ain't nobody else got it. Ain't nobody else doing what I'm doing. So I think it's really dope, man. Kudos to you. Congratulations on the success. I love the singles. Jamaica, like I said, is already streaming. I will have the other two uploaded tonight so that then those are streaming on the station. And I just got my software together last week, so we're going to actually start doing live shows on the station, because for the last couple months we've just been playing 24/7.
Cool.
So now it'll be just the same as if you're listening to Ricky Smiley or anybody else. Like we got the software and stuff now, so I get the journey. Like I get it, because I'm, you know, pulling money, making sure I pay the house and everything else first, and then putting the rest of it into this. So I appreciate what you're doing, man.
Yes, sir. And best to you as well.
Absolutely, man. You have a good day.
All right. Thanks for the interview.
Yes, sir.